Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Film Seizure. This is week 2 of Superhero Month, curated by our very own Geoff Arbuckle. Say hello, Geoff.
Hello. How's it going? Thwip, thwip. Thwip, thwip.
Flip, 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 flip.
Thwip.
I was like Paff. That's the Nightcrawler. But
No, Bamf.
Bamf. That's it. Bamf.
And that's in 2 weeks.
It was Paff in last week's movie.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that was in last week's.
Scott Pilgrim, yeah. Yes, and there's Chuck Moore. Chuck, say hello.
Hello.
We are going to be talking about, what year was this? 2004? 2004's Spider-Man 2, the Toby years.
The Toby years.
The Toby years.
It's insane how much Spider-Man we've gotten.
Sam Raimi.
Sorry.
Yeah, Sam Raimi.
Are you amazed? You're amazed by how much Spider-Man we've gotten?
In the last 20 years.
It's pretty spectacular.
It's a lot of
It is amazing.
Some of it is a little less spectacular, but yeah.
Well, you get caught up in the web of that stuff.
God.
I'm going to swing the fuck out of here real soon. Anyway, go ahead. Sam Raimi directed, who... Interesting pick, right? I thought maybe because of Darkman, they're like, he can do Spider-Man. I don't even know.
I was fully on board.
I was on board, especially because of Darkman,
Yeah.
and because Darkman has a very comic booky look to it.
Yeah.
That I thought he can capture the experience of going from one panel to the next, but do it in editing. And because I not that long ago I watched the from the first Spider-Man movie, that first showdown between Spider-Man and Green Goblin at that like parade thing or whatever that Oscorp was putting on. Mm-hmm. And the way that is so quickly edited, it does have this unique comic book feel to it that I think Sam Raimi was kind of perfect for. That
just for the record, I was on board
aged.
too.
Okay.
But it was just an interesting pick.
Sure. You wouldn't have expected a guy of that. You would have expected some nobody to have made it, like.
Yeah. I mean, in this era, right, we have Singer doing X-Men, which is weird.
Odd because he was just off of an Academy Award caliber movie.
Right. It was weird. And I was pissed and the biggest X-Men, we should probably talk about this later. I'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a couple of weeks.
And Nolan doing Batman and Sam Raimi, it's like the early 2000s. They're like, let's get these really good directors to start
Ang Lee does Hulk.
Ang Lee does Hulk. Mm-hmm. Let's get these really good directors to make movies or superhero movies, which is kind of wild.
Well, and
if
it
think
kind
about
of legitimized a lot of the genre, because in this time period too, you have Del Toro doing Blade 2. He's fresh off of making a splash in Mexico.
I was going to say he wasn't big yet.
He
wasn't the same as the other guys moving.
But he was working his way up. I mean, he almost murdered a Weinstein, and then they're like, we like that. You can make a Blade movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's, it is an interesting time for this, but man, do I still, oh God, I still love this movie deeply, deeply, deeply. I mean, I picked 2 Marvel non-MCU movies for this month, and they're still 2 of my favorite superhero movies, along with Batman and the first Superman movie. I just think they're just great. They're just the bee's knees.
The bee's knees. 2 non-MCU? I thought it was 3.
No, just 2.
Yeah. I guess I'll be surprised by the other one then. Because these are non-MCU movies, the first 2 we've done. I thought X-Men was non-MCU.
No, well, Scott Pilgrim isn't MCU.
I know. You said non-MCU movies.
Yeah, I picked 2 for this month. It's this one and X-Men 2. The other 3 movies I picked
2 that are... okay, I get you now. I get what you're saying. You're saying MCU, I think of the actual MCU that started with Hulk.
Oh, no,
technically.
No. Yeah, no, I'm talking about like starting with Iron Man 2008 forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you. They're Marvel movies that are not MCU.
Exactly.
And interestingly, I'm looking at the list of Marvel movies, and it was like a lot of very well respected, almost auteur type directors until The Punisher, which we talked about last week, and that's not a very good movie, and that's where things started to shit the bed. Because other than Spider-Man 2, you had Blade Trinity, which was not the best. That was David Goyer.
But it's still Goyer, though.
But it's still Goyer, yeah. But then you had Elektra, which was not, and it wasn't a name director at all. You had Fantastic Four, which was the guy. It was an interesting choice, but he had made a few things like The Barbershop, but he had never really. There's nothing about the Fantastic Four that said, "Yeah, that guy." Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I watched that movie at the drive-in and I was like, why am I here?
It's bad. and then you had Last Stand with Ratner. And things just started to get shitty for a while until Iron Man kind of came around. You know?
Well, it was the disbursement of all of those properties that Marvel had no control over.
Yeah.
They were starting to grab everything back, right?
Yeah. And it's Kevin Feige now that's like bringing everything, or Kevin Feige is bringing everything back, and he's the one who wrangled everything. But he worked with a lot of these people, like on the X-Men movie. He worked on, he was working with Avi Arad on the Spider-Man movies. So he was learning what not to do. And so, and when he wrangled everything back, that's when you say, okay, now we have a unified vision of what we want. And we just have to wait for 20th Century Fox to let us buy them.
I think the point I was going to make was I wish that Marvel would get back to finding directors with a vision and their own style and bringing that to.
Well, that was all prior to the umbrella of here's the story we're telling.
Because it kind of started that way
in it.
The what do they call them? The first phase or whatever kind of started that way. It had pretty big name directors attached who were bringing like their own creative input to a lot of these movies. But then they just kind of lost their way into homogeny for a while. I wish they'd get back. Like other than Coogler's Black Panther movies, there hasn't been a whole lot of real pizzazz, like real director.
I think there's a flash of that when you see Thunderbolts. That's going to be available soon here on Disney Plus, I think.
Who made that one? Jake Schreier.
Yeah, he
Robot and Frank and Paper Towns. Yeah, I would totally peg him for Thunderbolts.
Well, when you see that movie, it is it's a different type of story. It's not what people expected, I think, so I think that's something you would, I think, appreciate.
But I also wonder, I wonder if there's just that it's harder to get some directors now because they know that they're going to be maybe pigeonholed into a specific formula. I don't know.
Could be.
I think that superhero movies could be awesome again if they allowed a little bit more creative freedom. So maybe with the Thunderbolts, they're relinquishing a little bit of that. Hopefully that's.
I'm wondering, it'd be interesting to do a study of, like, Nolan has obviously been very successful post Batman, right? Like extremely successful. But I wonder how many of these directors like do get like Bryan Singer. Well, obviously there's other things with him, but he never like did anything after X-Men, really.
Yeah,
I mean, Superman. He left the X-Men series to do Superman.
Yeah, but there are things. Yeah,
but there are things. Yeah,
We'll talk about it next week. But I guess also my final point on this, last thing I'll say on it is when you watch Spider-Man 2, it is painfully apparent in all the good ways that this is a Sam Raimi movie.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I love that. I love seeing the director's stamp on a property. Right.
I think the
nobody else would direct a Spider-Man movie this way.
Right. And I will say, to put a stamp on what you were saying about like just the MCU kind of maybe floating off course for a little while here. I would say that the Russo brothers were a really good, like, simpatico feeling with what, with what the whole was. So that's why they could make a couple really good, Captain America movies, a couple of really good Avengers movies.
Yeah. And I also would say that the best, in my opinion, is still the original Captain America movie, and that was Joe Johnston.
Sure.
I don't have any stamps.
Okay. Well, we'll mail it later then.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah. Let's go back to 2002 Spider-Man real quick, because
Let's do it.
Because that is a movie that obviously this is a direct sequel off of. If you don't know that, James Franco is going to remind you in a very, very,
oh my God,
interesting choices he makes in the sequels and how he plays Harry.
It's funny too, because he doesn't have that cheese in the first one. He goes like full into like over the top camp, and then I guess the third one he's just lost.
Well, it's like we got to make up for Willem Dafoe not being around here anymore. It's
actually funny. I forgot that he doesn't come back as Green Goblin until the third movie. I could have swore he was in this one as Green Goblin. I think because of just all of his like weird obsession scenes. Yeah.
Well, you gotta have him as technically he's the Hobgoblin, I guess.
Yeah.
But you start that off in the third one so that he can get his incredible head trauma, so that he can be a real goofball for the halfway point of that movie.
Bombs.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so the first one is, it was kind of the first one when it came out, it's like, wow, this is a different type of it's the perfect melding of taking yourself seriously, like say the first Batman movie did, right? And the campier, brighter elements that the Schumacher Batman movies did. And it was a perfect melding of that, but it was almost still like this is a proof of concept. With a little bit more money and knowing what we have now, I bet you can let me make a really good Spider-Man movie. And that's what this is.
We're talking about the first Spider-Man. That felt like the first important superhero movie in like 15 years.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, it's part of a like Blade led to X-Men, which led to Spider-Man finally getting made, so it's like,
I guess maybe X-Men was a year before Spider-Man 1.
It was 2 years. 2 years.
Before, okay. Yeah. So I'll give that X-Men and Blade was all right, but it wasn't huge.
No, but I mean, it was pretty big for an R-rated movie though.
But also a lot of people didn't fully transpose that onto Marvel either. Like, there were a lot of people who just thought it was a cool action vampire movie and no concept of it, because it's not a big name character in the comics, right?
But that is something that Marvel has done well, which is they start with somebody that people in the know, but then
some of their best movies are lesser known groups.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe now, but in 2008, to the wider public, people didn't really know who Iron Man was. They didn't know what his thing was. If you read comics, you knew who he was. But
Guardians are the first one I can think of that I was like, I don't even know who the fuck.
Oh, well, that is, we've got James Gunn and he wants to do this, so we're going to do this.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. So,
I would agree with you, Chuck. X-Men would be the one where it was like, oh, maybe superhero movies can be good, like in the traditional sense of like big name. Like Wolverine, for Christ's sakes, right?
Right.
Everybody knows Wolverine. Yeah.
Then this was like the beginning, or Spider-Man 1 was like the gasoline on the fire, because not everyone likes X-Men. The people that like X-Men love X-Men.
Right. Mm-hmm. It was absolutely the accelerant. Yep.
Well, yeah, because like now you have a household name and you have expectations for what Spider-Man could be. And
most of it is really good too for the time, and like how they present Spider-Man and is flying around. Like I was pretty impressed. There's a moment I have to talk about later that my kids laughed hysterically at.
Mary Jane. Is it Mary Jane?
That's one of them.
Yeah.
I have to chuckle a little bit.
I know
because
exactly what it is because it killed me too.
There's an element that carries over from the comic books in this, which is, what you swinging on, Pete? How are you swinging away? But like that's a thing in the comics too. It's like, Peter Parker is in the middle of a desert and he finds something to swing on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's some weird fuzzy logic with his webs for sure.
Sure, but I mean, but like that's something that you chuckle about because it's the inside joke in the comics.
That's where you get all the metaphor, right?
Yeah.
Toby's in his web slinging. Yeah. all your metaphor, all your thematic metaphors, right there. His performance anxiety.
Oh God, that's. I mean, what's funny is that the two Marvel movies I chose this month, they both ape off of other favorites of mine. This one apes off of Superman 2 because he loses his power for a while. He changes his outlook on life.
Yeah.
And X2 apes heavily in the final act on what is my all-time favorite trope at the end of a movie, the Wrath of Khan ending. We'll talk about that in a couple of weeks. But yeah.
I haven't watched X2 in 20 years.
I haven't watched it that long either. I mean, I might watch 1 and 2.
I'm going to need to.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm going to need to.
We'll do that. We'll talk about that in a couple of weeks. But Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man was such a big deal in the summer of 2002. It grossed more money than a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
And it broke a box office record for the first weekend. I mean, like Spider-Man hit on every single cylinder it could possibly hit on. And so much so that, back in the days where sequels would take like 3 years, especially if they're effects heavy, Spider-Man 2 came out in 2 years. So they were ready to let's make a second one.
Yep.
Let's keep going.
Yep.
And this is back before Sony completely and totally lost their fucking brains on how to make movies. So it's not like, there's nothing in this movie where it makes me say, oh, Sony.
Well, it helps again when you have a passionate, competent, well-established director, right?
Who's not going to take orders from. Yeah.
Now that gets away with them in the next one. Gets away from them in the next one.
I still think, though, there are some things in that are charmingly silly.
I agree.
Yeah.
But it's those Spider-Man 2.
No. Well, shit. There aren't many. I mean, there are Marvel movies of the last, 17 years now that are among my favorites that aren't Spider-Man 2. I mean, they're great. It still ain't Spider-Man 2.
I think some of that, not to shit on the movie, because I think it's great. Like, it's the one that gave us superhero movies in a lot of ways. So there's a lot of nostalgia. I have a lot of nostalgia for this film.
Aunt May's little speech when she convinces Peter Parker to become Spider-Man again. It kind of encapsulates a lot of the love that we all had collectively for this new era of superheroes, I think.
Sure.
Especially like post 9/11 and everything. It was a little bit of lightning in the bottle. Yeah.
Given I don't understand, and I know the comic books ever old too, so it's pretty comic accurate, but I'm like, why is Aunt May 70 years older than Peter? I don't get it.
I was always like, I'm still honestly confused by Marissa Tomei. I mean, I'm not complaining, but
she seems more like aunt accurate to Tobey Maguire, like an actual aunt who's 20.
Right, but they were never
20.
young. They were never that young in the comics, right? So it was
right.
always just, and I was never attracted to Aunt May before.
I don't know. Why do I have these weird
confusing boner?
I mean, Marissa Tomei is Marissa Tomei.
With hot hands, hot boner ability.
My biological clock is ticking.
She
knows a lot about cars.
She probably does. Even living in New York, she knows a lot about cars. No, and I will say that there's a very specific era of Spider-Man that this perfectly encapsulates. And that's like the late 60s, very beginning 70s of the era of the comics. Where
reminds
Peter
me of the
is
late 80s too, but yeah.
Maybe a little bit, but even in the late 80s, Peter was a little bit older. There are elements of Mary Jane that remind me of that 80s era.
Yeah.
But there's a like the whole concept of Peter being still kind of nerdy. He's not he's not reliable. He's down on his luck. He's hard on himself. He takes the whole power and responsibility thing too seriously. That is definitely that post Stan Lee era Spidey in the late 60s, early
And
70s.
he has to exploit himself to make a living.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
And
always love the frames where he has the camera up in the web.
yeah.
Spider web while he is
Yeah.
flashing while he's doing his crime fight and kills me.
Yeah. Which was really good in the first one.
That was the first one, yeah.
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 But no,
Total
I mean, Tobey Maguire, I think, is the perfect Peter Parker and Spider-Man from that particular era. This is like your John Romita Sr. era of Spider-Man. Where he's an adult, but he's not comfortably an adult yet. And I think that Sam Raimi probably read those comics, and it's like, this is how we're doing it, because this is what I think Spider-Man is. And I think that where Tom Holland is a little bit more of like the current day Spidey, even though he's younger than the current day Peter, Andrew Garfield is definitely a Peter Parker of either the original Ultimate Universe or of the 90s era.
He's a mid-20s kind of Spider-Man, age-wise.
Yeah, and he's a little bit more confident in himself.
Yeah, super quippy. Yeah.
But I mean, like, super quippy Spider-Man is my favorite.
Sure.
Spider-Man.
His quippiness in those two Spider-Man movies is really good. It feels right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always liked that element of those movies.
And he does, in No Way Home, still has one of my favorite Spider-Man on-screen moments when he finally saved the girl.
Yeah.
Oh, Andrew Garfield?
Yeah, that was nice.
absolutely.
That's just a great movie.
Yeah.
I'll use this time because you brought up like how Toby rates. Brinley says, I asked her what rating she would give him as Peter Parker. And she looked at me and she goes, he's a good Spider-Man.
Whoa.
That's what she thinks of Tobey Maguire.
Really?
But I don't think she wouldn't know the 60s era. She
doesn't know
like
Peter
knows
Parker
the
as
history.
a sort of adult. Yeah.
Yeah, like she knows the history of Spider-Man, but like she hasn't read 1,000 Spider-Man comics or anything. But she's right in the fact that I think Toby is a pretty good Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like he's a pretty good Spider-Man.
Hey, he's pretty good all the way around.
He is.
He really is. Yeah.
I think they did good with all three. They all have different strengths, and like seeing them all on screen together in No Way Home. I know we're not talking about that movie. It was like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
To see the different like eras of Spider-Man together, because they all are
ages,
treated
too.
differently. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Toby has fully all the way grown up.
I'm interested in the Toby of that 20 years that has transpired before No Way. I think he's that old, right? He's late 30s and No Way Home, like as far as the movie is concerned.
At least.
I mean, he is absolutely the adult in the room when they're all trying to build the little contraptions to cure everybody.
Not that he's the multiverse Spider-Man from Miles Morales Spider-Man movies, but that's like the age I think of him at in this movie, and kind of the age he is in Ultimates, which is the new Ultimate Spider-Man, which is I think very cool too.
It is very cool. Yeah. I like seeing the character that we always grew up thinking, oh, he's closer to our age, and now he's still closer to our age.
Yes. Yeah. And he has different great responsibilities.
Yep. But no, I mean, I was so ready for this movie when it came, and boy, oh boy, did it landed everything.
It's one of the first movies, not first, one of the few movies that I'm like, I'm seeing that on opening night, because I usually avoid the theater on opening night. I'm like, I don't want to sit with all those people. But this one in Spider-Man 3 actually was made better by seeing it opening night with a bunch of people because of all the laughing and stuff.
Sure.
But this was a must see, 100%. I'm just saying I'm with you. I was ready.
Yeah. And
I would also say that like Danny Elfman's scoring of Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2, it sets a new standard. Like, it's like, hey, remember when superhero movies had these iconic scores? Yeah, let's do that again. Yeah.
And he had two of them.
Yeah.
And it's such a, I don't want to call it a departure. Maybe it is a departure. It doesn't even feel like Danny Elfman, which is weird. It's like I don't know how to say it. Like
it's not whimsical like Danny Elfman, you would think.
Yeah, I wouldn't hear this and be like, "That's Danny Elfman." Yeah. I would have to see his name and be like, "Oh, that's good, Danny Elfman." Like,
right? Yeah.
It's honestly, it's funny enough, it's kind of close to his Darkman score a little.
Bit. I remember you saying that back a while ago about it, and I wouldn't have connected that. But yeah.
The other thing I wanted to say also, because this is also something that is not really in comic books anymore, but still was kind of there back 20 years ago, and certainly was there if it matched up with that era that Raimi was pulling from for this movie. The melodrama in this is the shit that I buy comics for back then. It's like, man, the superheroics are great. But oh no, Pete's late to see Mary Jane's play. It's like that means something, you know. It's like
that's actually character development.
Exactly.
It's why I think you would have liked Hickman's X-Men run as short as it was, because there is that. I quite enjoy that too. Like when there is something that happens to the person, not the superhero.
Yeah, right? and it almost comes off like. And the reaction to the stuff is like almost soap operatic, you know, in the sense that it's like there's a big reaction from the person who's wronged by it, because that's something that has to be resolved in the next month or two, you know. But like, so everything's a little bit elevated, right? It's a little bit like it's big emotion.
That's why Spider-Man's always been like I don't know. He's the best, in my opinion. I think Batman is my favorite, but Spider-Man is the best because there's so much there to play with in that arena of life that matters. And it impacts his herodom.
Yeah.
You know, like he doesn't just put on the mask and become Spider-Man. He's still Peter with powers, which is not always what you see in superhero comics. Like, and why I'm kind of fascinated to bring, like, Jason, you said you're reading Superman for a while now. The reason I don't like Superman is because let me rephrase that, because you guys are going to pile on me. He's not my favorite because the Clark Kent stuff just never seems real to me. I don't know how to, like, he always feels like Superman to me. Does that make sense? Am I missing something?
And I think
I've kind of always sort of felt similarly about the both of them in that regard, and the secret identity regard. I think maybe it's partly because they both work at newspapers. They both kind of use their own very celebrity, their superhero celebrity to make their careers. You know, they're balancing a lot of that secret identity stuff. I don't know. I thought you were going to say the like invincibility of Superman.
That's the second one, or the first.
That's always
like it's
the
right there
for anyone writing Superman. That's why I was kind of dipping into Superman again, is because Doomsday is sort of kind of back in a weird way, and I was like, because they're probably really looking for something to hurt Superman again, right? Because that's always a challenge. So I've been picking up these books, and it's all I found out it's all leading into this new, like, big major DC Dark Universe thing or something that's coming late this summer. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's interesting. It's interesting because they're finding unique ways to fuck with Superman.
I will say one thing real quick, Jeff. I know you probably want to say something. We should get back to Spider-Man, but I'm really interested in James Gunn's because it does look like Superman is a little more human and injurable, and he has to be trotted out into the sun. And I know that's comic book stuff, but it's in the movie at least.
It feels very Silver Agey.
Yeah.
Yes,
Which is exactly what I feel about these Raimi Spider-Man movies.
I agree with you.
I was just going to say real quick, Jason, that I have a Superman story I'm going to recommend to you. We'll do that offline. I have not read it, but I want to. But I know of it, and I think you'll dig the hell out of it.
Or our listeners.
The Oz Effect is the name of the story. It was a few
I've
years
heard
back. Yeah.
I watched Red Sun recently, and I was like, that's
yeah, Red Sun's pretty cool.
The book, but I watched the movie. I was like, damn, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty good. The last thing I was going to say is, not for nothing, but Peter Parker appeared in and was covering the Crisis on Infinite Earths in that series. It's actually literally Peter Parker.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Right.
They used to sneak Peter Parker into Superman or into DC, and they would sometimes sneak Clark Kent into Marvel stories back then, back before those two companies got weird at each other.
When they got along.
Yeah, when they still kind of got along. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 1 ends with Green Goblin fighting. Green Goblin comes along, he pumpkin bombs the hell out of the place. One of my favorite lines from Mallrats. He just pumpkin bombed the hell out of the place. And then, just like in the comic, Spider-Man sensed the glider coming. He flipped and it impaled Norman, killed him. And but Harry discovered Spider-Man with the body. And meanwhile, at Norman's funeral, Mary Jane tries to tell Peter, it's like, hey, I'm pretty hot for you. And he's like, yeah, great. I can't. Sorry. Bye. And walks away from her. Which I always thought that she learned that he was Spider-Man at that moment.
Me too.
But they kind of retcon that here. But that's fine. That's fine. But she does say, I always kind of thought, and he didn't see her react. So, whatever.
Yeah.
It can still be there. But
it's a lingering doubt.
It's a lingering
you wouldn't get
doubt.
the great scene of her kissing people in this, like, lean over the couch.
Yeah, lean over the couch, Man Wolf. By the way, yeah, that's what John Jameson becomes, Man Wolf.
Yep.
But boy, did they realize though after the first one, it's like, wet Kirsten Dunst is what people come and buy tickets for, because for some reason she's wet in the third act of this movie, and it's
that's
hilarious.
why Fat Damon married her.
Fat Damon,
Meth Damon.
Sorry.
Anyway, so that's where we're at, and we pick up not long after that. It's been a few months, I think. But Peter's got his own apartment. It's a little shitty apartment, and he's delivering pizzas for a job. Jason wants to say something.
I love that character. So my 20-minute guarantee is a promise.
Oh, yeah. 29 minutes. That's great. Because you think of like Domino's 30 minute, it's like he can do 1 minute better.
He stole that guy's pizza. Sorry.
I also like that this is another thing from the ancient days of Spider-Man. Ancient now, but not so much 20 years ago. That's sad to think. But this movie does do a good job of... The public is split on Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Which I like. It's like some of them buy into what J. Jonah Jameson publishes about him.
It's very Batman-y, like in the public person. I know it's a Spider-Man thing too, but
sure.
Yes, people are not fully on board with Spider-Man, which is good. It's good stuff.
And then there are people who are kind of mixed into that, who are very much into I mean, it's so silly, and it's not really the type of movie that could get made today. But like when he catches the crook's car in the web, and then he's like swinging by, and the girl's like, "Go, Spider-Man." It's like, that's just classic Spider-Man shit. There's classic Spider-Man shit happening all over this movie from minute 1 to minute 127.
Even with like all the times he uses the two webs. Like, I'm like, that's fucking Spider-Man right there. He's using the two webs to stop the car, to slingshot himself through a window. Or,
Yep.
It's good stuff.
He even uses Aunt May to slingshot himself once.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah. But it works. But
Any other bright ideas?
Yeah.
I've got a few.
So Peter is, he's struggling. He's got a bad work-life balance. Work being Spider-Man, life being also work and life.
He's late to everything that would matter to Peter.
Yes.
Because of Spider-Man.
Yeah, he can't go to work without needing to. So he feels overburdened. He has to stop every crime that he sees.
Yep.
Which, technically, it's good if you did, but also cops need work too. It's like maybe cops stop the mugger.
What's an interesting, just topic in general? If you're a hero, when do you stop being a hero?
Yeah.
It's
24/7 in New York City. That's not going to go well.
Right. It's well explored in this movie.
Yeah.
I
think it's going to be explored in the Superman movie coming up too. By the way, we haven't seen, this episode comes out before that comes out. So, I think it might be explored a little bit in Superman. It's like, what's the responsibility that somebody with this type of ability should do?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Just because you can do something, even in life, just as a human, sometimes you can't. There's things I can do that I could do right now that I can't do because.
Well, you're here with us.
Yes. I'm
here with you, assholes.
But it's not coming across well. But yeah.
Well, it's there. It's there. But yeah, so Spider-Man has to deliver these 5 pizzas to the Bones lady. The Emily Deschanel, right?
Yeah.
And
I knew she looked familiar. I was like, what the hell? Yep.
Yeah. But he's also got to also stop a crime happening. So he can't catch a break. He can't just fucking go to work.
Oh, God damn it. Crime.
Guy tries to eat his pizza. Then a guy accuses Spider-Man of stealing pizza. Chuck's wearing a pizza shirt. This has turned into a pizza episode. But he ends up, God, it's so Peter Parker too, because he gets to the place where he's supposed to deliver the pizzas, and he's in the broom closet changing back into Peter Parker, and he can't close the door without the brooms falling out. And
yes.
And that goes on for a long time. That's a scene in and of itself that probably took 3 days to shoot.
Not with Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi. It probably took 5 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, he's probably got Bruce Campbell inside there pushing the brooms over, and
he's just knocking him around with his chin.
Get to work, Bruce. But he's of course he's late, and she's like, nope, not paying for it, which causes him to get fired. And then he goes to Aunt May's house, forgetting that it's his birthday. And Harry is already being a weirdo.
Oh my God, Harry.
Where are you? Take a picture of your friend.
He's got the crazy eyes and everything. It's great.
Why is it so over the top in this? Why?
Because it's Sam Raimi, man.
I also think that Franco is just not good at subtlety.
Fair.
I think it's a little
James
bit.
Franco.
I think it's a little bit of Sam Raimi is trying to set some things up, but it's also just James Franco.
James Franco, when he says some of those lines the way he does, it's like he is stoned, right? He is out of his gourd right now.
Seth Rogen's in his purse.
Yeah, right. He's just waiting for him. He's sticking a little joint out.
He's holding the joint out.
Because he is he's got crazy eyes. The eyes are glassy. it's like he is.
Yeah. Yeah, he's flying.
And I love it. I love it. It's the little things, man. It's the little things that says, "Yep, this is what I want out of a Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie."
Man, he's the one character I could do with less of.
Nope. I want his craziness.
It's funny though, because I don't ever feel Harry Osborn is like that. So it is it is out of character for Harry Osborn, which is kind of like takes me out of it a little bit. But
what's funny though,
I'm not going to shit on the campiness of it, because I think Spider-Man sometimes deserves a little campy.
Yes.
It's not the campiest like of comic books, but it has camp.
It has camp.
That's some pretty campy villains.
And during the death of Gwen Stacy story, Harry was struggling, like he had like a bad trip or something. That was all part of that story, because it was Peter being around all the time that reminded Norman Osborn that, hey, wait a minute, that guy's Spider-Man. And he went nuts because he was amnesiac at the soap operas, baby. I love it. Oh, yeah. It's little boy soap operas.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Anyway, but so Harry is kooky because he's like taking pictures of your friend. And he's like, Carrie, come on, man, just let it go. I hadn't seen you for months, and this is what you come back with. And but then he
we don't hang out anymore.
It's like we don't hang out. Yeah, you're just being weird, man. But Harry does kind of become lucid again. He's like, hey, buddy, you better get up in that MJ business. It's like she's waiting for you. He's like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm a little dorky guy. And she is
I'm juggling
pretty cute.
Right
yeah, and she's pretty cute. And I'm going to just disappoint her constantly. But yeah, it's but he reconnects with Mary Jane. And see, this is something else that's very 60s like, the constant usage of the entire name of somebody.
Yeah.
She always calls him Peter Parker. He always calls her Mary Jane Watson. It's just, I love it. I love that shit, man. It's so, you don't realize how good that is until you see it. Like on paper, it wouldn't seem right. Chuck, we're talking about the constant use of the full names between Mary Jane and Peter.
Oh yeah, I don't understand that.
I don't understand it necessarily, but I love it. It's very 60s like again, where it's like you get that alliteration with Peter Parker, it's like it flows. And she's, but anyway, the other thing in this, like kind of, they kind of reconnect thing is when, she was like, oh, it was good seeing you. And he's like, oh boy. Yeah. And she's like, oh boy. Yeah. What? It's like, come on, Pete, it's like I'm reading the fucking physical comic. It's like, come on, Pete, don't fuck this up.
It is like he does fuck it up. And I did want to say something earlier when you're talking about the movie, and it applies here, I think. Like the way that it's shot is so comic book framey.
Yes.
Like, especially in this moment, the back and like when they go over the shoulder, it's not even over the shoulder. It's like her face, his face, her face, his face, or whatever.
A shot, B shot. Yeah.
Yes. And it feels like a comic book, which I love. I'm like, the later we've gotten into this run of, like, they feel more like action movies than comic book movies, if that makes sense. Which takes away like the
and some of that is the way the action is shot. There's just too much fucking happening in a lot of these.
Right, just show me Captain America punching Thanos like in a single frame or something.
Yeah, I had the same observation you did, Chuck. Especially watching even like the action scenes, how generally sparse they are. But every frame is something different and iconic, and they stay with it a little longer so you can absorb it, right? Like a comic book, right? How many times you go through a comic books as a kid that you love just because there was that awesome shot of Spider-Man, holding something back with his web slingers out, right?
There's this scene later that I'm agreeing with you still, like that Brinley and Sarah laughed at a lot, and I'm like, this looks like a comic book to me.
Yeah, interesting. All right.
And that's what's great about it.
But it's the same thing, but it might be.
It's not the Mary Jane one, but we'll talk about it later. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, and it's funny because I think that what happened here is what Ang Lee missed with his Hulk movie is he made it a little too literal, right?
Yeah, because he put frames in there. He freeze framed things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he showed you a whole page of a comic book and it would go into the frame, which was clever and neat. I remember liking that at the time. But what Sam Raimi has done here is completely like copied the experience of reading a comic book in the movie format.
When did Unbreakable
without having to show that veil, if you will, right?
Yeah.
When did Unbreakable come out? Because it does the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Was it 2002 or 2001? It was 2001, I think.
Like, I honestly, if it was before this, that's astounding to me because that felt a lot like a comic book too, with the framing.
It felt like more than a comic book, like a superhero comic book. It almost felt more like a graphic novel, right?
Yeah.
Because
I agree with that.
It's a different kind of style because you have to tell a contained story, right? And that's kind of what it felt like because it allowed itself to linger on like mundane things, right?
Yes.
And there was like slow pushes with the camera, yeah. But
and there's no history you have to tell. You're making the history.
You're making the history, yeah.
Yeah.
And the because the first movie feels like a comic book in the way it is edited. This one is in the way it's shot.
Yeah. 100%. Like I'm watching a fucking comic right now, and that's cool. That's what I like most probably about this movie.
Yeah.
Well, and it just, I mean, like, I think that goes into the whole element of the way the movie is toned, the way it's scripted, the way its dialogue is written.
It's fucking Spider-Man.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I'm opening up Spider-Man issue number 547 and reading it or whatever.
You could write me a good Spider-Man story on, 10 pieces of paper with no pictures that I'd like. But this like has all that other
it's got the reason why you it's the reason why you spend the $4
to get the pictures and get 100%. Yeah.
And so basically, I do like that every time that Peter has a that Peter is like faced with a bad moment in his life, he's stuck looking at that billboard that Mary Jane is on.
Yeah.
Oh my God, when he passes like 10,000 of her.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit.
that almost came off as like, that's almost Watchmen like.
Yeah.
In like the overuse or not the overuse, but the usage of that nostalgia article.
But it is like,
like advertisement.
It is like I would think of Peter kind of seeing her everywhere, even though she's not.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Like maybe all those pictures weren't really there, but every picture he saw was like Mary Jane. I don't know.
Yeah.
That seems very Peter to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically he's out of a job. His aunt's about to get kicked out of her house.
She's not going to get the free toast. I know that's later. Sorry.
no free toasters. And his landlord wants rent.
Mr. Dick shit. What's his name again?
Ditkovich. It's based on Steve Ditko's name.
But he calls him Dickvich, basically. Or something.
I think it's actually Steve Ditko's born name.
Really?
Yeah, I believe so.
Interesting.
Ditkovich. I could be wrong on that, but I wouldn't be surprised because I think he's got like a Polish name or something. But anyway, oh God, I love it when he's like, he has ears like whatever it is, but he's got eyes like a rodent. And then he kind of like he's like looks like a rat. Yeah. That fucking kills me. But his daughter thinks the Peter sure is cute, and we sure think she's cute.
Yeah, she's cute.
You two do. I'm okay with her.
She's actually a model.
But she's like one of the few non-character characters in this Like, she's not a Spider-Man character. She's just for the movie.
Yeah.
Not that matters, but it is always interesting when you have people show up in comic book movies that don't exist in the comics.
Steve Ditko's last name really was Ditko. Huh. That's surprising. That does not seem like a real, like, it feels like it would. Anyway. All right.
I don't know. I like your story better. Let's
anyway.
Well, maybe his ancestors were Ditkovich and it just got changed at Ellis Island or something.
Probably. Yeah, it's like, that's too long. We got to change that, you Hungarian Slavic weirdos.
The primary picture of him, though, on any website with him with the think thing behind him, it looks like when Ditkovich turns from the table. So I do think they're trying to recreate that a little bit.
Steve Ditko was a very interesting character. That's a guy I recommend you read up on.
I know a little bit about him. I know he had to leave because,
Well, yeah, and then he was a what do they call that? The type of person who believes in absolute black and white, that there is no gray in between.
An absolutist?
Maybe that is the word I'm thinking of. But because like the later creations that he had, because he was also like an Ayn Rand reader. He always wanted Spider-Man to be yelling at whenever he would draw him swinging over like protesting hippies.
Oh God.
and Stan Lee would write something else and it would piss him off.
That's why he left, because of the dialogue that Stan Lee wrote.
And he would later go on to create I think it's The Question, or no, it was Mr. A or something like. Anyway, but it was a character who believed that there was no such thing as gray, and it was like he was like basically dumping his own belief system into this character. That it's like everything is black and white. There is, everything is absolute, and it's like, you are an interesting character, buddy.
I mean, Stan Lee kind of did that, but he was a good person.
Yeah, it was. I mean. He considered typical human morality.
yes, and the people who couldn't defend themselves,
right?
Like, that's important. Like, I don't even want to get into all the people who don't understand what the X-Men are, and maybe we'll get into that in a couple of weeks.
Maybe. But anyway, so one of the big things that Peter is failing at is college, and his teacher, Dr. Lizard Connors. Yeah. Dr. Lizard says, Pete, you want to be here. Why don't you just be here? And it's like, you're writing a paper on a guy I know pretty well, not saying that we're going to ever be in a Sinister Six or anything, but I know this guy pretty well. You better nail this shit, or, your college tuition's down the tubes, buddy. Kind of down the tubes. So he finds out that that this guy, Otto Octavius, is being funded by Oscorp. And Harry's like, you want to meet him? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, all right, so come with me. And so this is pretty, because Alfred Molina is really good in this too.
He's fantastic.
But his whole I'm really pretty busy. And then he realizes the guy who's paying the bills wants me to talk to this guy. But
Andy's smart. Andy finds out Peter's smart.
Yeah, which makes him really like him. Yeah. I always liked the dichotomy of that relationship that Peter Parker and Otto had, even in the comics. That's an interesting. There's an interesting combo there.
Sarah pushed up her glasses at me that she doesn't wear, and she's like, "Do you realize that Otto Octavius has 8 legs, and so does a spider?" I'm like, "Fuck you, kid." Sorry, that one cracked me up.
Oh my god!
I was like, "Oh, I never really put that together." This is a kid, mind you, for people listening, that always knows more than me. But that one, she did not. Sorry, Jeff, go ahead.
But she is a pretty big Spider-Man fan.
No, Brinley is. Sarah,
Sarah was the one you said. I thought you said Brent. I'm sorry. Yes.
No, Brinley doesn't try to one-up me a lot.
Well, Sarah constantly one-ups you. Yes.
Yes. Literally does.
Yes. Anyway, so and they start talking. Then I am reminded that the lady who's playing his wife was the lady that Captain Picard wanted to bone on that one planet that made everybody young.
Oh my god.
What? It is.
I know, but you always get to bring up Star Trek in some way or another.
But it is.
I mean, sure it is.
We've covered 2 Donna Murphy movies now. So
you're like Mike from Red Letter Media. Always throwing the obscure.
Should my eyes glass over? You should know the name talking of the about this.
You should know the title of the episode.
Yeah, that would be the.
It's Star Trek Insurrection. It's the movie.
Oh, it's the movie.
Oh, so you do know.
Yeah, it's Star Trek. We covered. Now
you
that
are
movie.
The guy.
We covered that movie.
All right, that's fair enough.
We all saw him try to bone this lady.
I would never remember that.
I wouldn't either.
But I'm glad you did, and I'm glad you brought it up. Thanks, Jeff.
Anyway, but yeah, so like Otto asks him if you got a little girlfriend over there. You got a little girlfriend, little guy, and he's like, oh man, it's kind of complicated. And he's like, poetry, man, that'll win her back. And God, when he tries that later, it's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
She's like, whatever that means.
Whatever that means.
My Mary Jane would know what that is, but yeah, she's a smart cookie. She's
she's pretty frustrated at Peter.
It also
now,
comes out of left field too.
Yeah,
and it's like he just said he's been writing poetry. He didn't like share any.
That is good, awkward Peter.
Yes.
Like really good, awkward Peter.
Yeah. But what is Otto working on?
He's working on a nuclear fusion.
I don't really understand it.
It's like a nuclear fusion thing that self-powers.
Self-sustaining energy.
It self-powers itself. But what I don't really get, and what Jason, you might be alluding to, is that I thought it was the octopus arms was the thing, but no, he just made those so he can deal with the thing.
Right, yeah, they're separate things. Yeah.
Which I'm like, I don't know what's happening here, he needs
that like that metal that is, what did he say? It was like unbreakable, unbendable, unmeltable.
Can't overheat, can't melt, whatever. It can deal with like fission that's just sitting in the middle of the room. Which
it's automantium.
Is it?
No, I don't know, but that's what I would call it.
I like that. I like that. That sounded right. The nuclear reaction is just taking place.
He's just creating a fucking sun.
Yeah.
Like that's what he creates, essentially, is he creates a star.
You can't really do that. Like they all would have burned the fuck up.
Oh my God. If I was assigned to do that, I'd be like, I'm not taking this job. That's some fucking scary fucking super science stuff. I don't know.
Like, cause he's wearing like Ray-Bans or whatever, blacked out glasses, blacked out goggles. Oh yeah, that's what Dr. Octo.
Oh my God. Okay. This is our third Donna Murphy movie.
What else was she in?
Jade.
Oh, that's right. She was in Jade.
Did we talk about Jade? I wasn't
You
there.
didn't. You did.
We should probably do
we
that.
had the distinct unpleasure.
For the rest of the episode, we should talk like we're realizing something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, basically, yeah, he's creating a nuclear fusion that will essentially be a star.
And keep powering itself.
And you would just plug shit into it.
Exponential energy for whatever reason. Like he didn't even explain why.
Well, energy's a problem.
It would change the world.
We already have a fucking sun, everybody. We don't need to create.
My question is, why is he doing it at the end?
Well, because his inhibitor is driving him crazy. The arms are saying because you can't fail. You have to do you have to fix the thing.
Purely just not to fail.
Yes,
and to make his wife's death not
mean something. Yeah, mean something in the end.
All right.
So yeah, so like Peter is invited to see the. So Peter's invited by Harry to see the experience. Actually, I think Otto was the one who actually invites him to see the thing turn on. And he's like, "Sure, I'll be there. I'm writing a paper anyway, so this will be enlightening." And so they're there with Harry and with the press, the assorted press. And oh my God, Otto's terrible
called the Associated Press. Sorry,
it's the assorted.
That was my terrible joke. Now you tell us what
was his joke? Because I kind of missed it, and I didn't.
So he says, "Okay, everybody, before we start, just wanted to ask. Did anybody lose a big roll of $20 bills in a rubber band? Like rubber banded together? If so, well, we found the rubber band."
Oh, that's bad.
It is bad.
So it shows that Otto is kind of like Peter, though. Like this is because Peter laughs pretty hard at that.
He's also like trying to suck up too. He's
a little bit, but like
brown noser.
But like he looks over at Harry, who looks back at him, and he's just kind of like, no, don't. That's not funny.
Harry probably lost a fucking rubber banded roll of $20 bills. So he's like, mad.
What are you doing? Taking pictures of my friend?
You taking pictures of my money?
You taking pictures of my money?
Oh shit.
You want to fight?
Anyway, we'll fight. I bet you were. Anyway,
but the thing gets out of control and it starts magnetizing everything and sucking things into the room. And Peter's like, I need to find a phone booth.
Well, wait, Scott Pilgrim's stuck in this one. Oh, shit.
Yes.
I got to find another one.
That will never not crack me up in a movie. And I think the way that Superman deals with it, of him going into a phone booth and like the absurdity of that, makes it okay. Because every time Batman sneaks off or Spider-Man sneaks off and the character disappears that should be there, and all of a sudden this other guy is there and nobody puts it together, is so stupid. But Superman treats it like a joke almost. I don't know if it started off that way, but it feels like that.
I don't know. I mean, it could have just been an old Krypton University party prank.
But Peter running out
see how many Kryptonians can fit in this cell phone booth.
Yeah, sure. Yes. It was an old joke that Marlon Brando used to tell.
Zod's in there. The fucking Nog is like fucking everything up.
Kneel before Zod. Anyway, it is funny that Peter just runs off and comes back as Spider-Man. And every time that happens in any superhero movie, I'm like, that's really stupid, but it's fun.
Yeah, you just have to allow it.
Well, I like how they subvert that. Like in the first Iron Man movie, it just ends with him saying, yeah, you know what? I am Iron Man. So they just subverted that for the rest of that.
God. Thank God. But Spider-Man is on the other side of that with Captain America, right?
Yeah.
No, Cap. Everybody knows Cap is Steve Rogers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait. So what was the fight about in Civil War?
It was about registering whether or not it's right to give up, being forced to give up your identity.
Yeah, Spider-Man was on the side of Iron Man, wasn't he?
No.
In Civil War, he was. Yeah,
he was. He wanted to say
in both the comic and
they made a big
in the comics,
show of him unmasking himself
in the comic.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay,
which is funny because that was not required. You didn't have to publicly come out. You just had to register with the government.
Right.
But Steve Rogers' problem was like, well, how you can't tell us who the bad guys are. We have to make that. We have to independently make those decisions ourselves. And that also includes our personal liberty of protecting our identity.
That's interesting because I would never see Spider-Man actually doing that, but whatever. But yeah, he comes back in and all hell breaks.
He's like, hey guys, I've been here the whole time.
Yeah, I was here. I was hanging out.
I was up there in the corner.
But yeah, like things get progressively worse. I don't know what Doc Ock tries to do, but glass or something comes up and cuts his wife's head off, basically. Right?
Yeah, it cuts her right in the face. I don't know if it cuts her head off, but
because it was so the magnetism was pulling stuff through the window, and the shard from the glass cut her. Yeah,
cut her enough to kill her.
Yeah,
right.
Anyways.
Fatality.
Yeah. and then I don't know what happens.
So like Spider-Man's like, hey man,
and Picard was like, and it was already too late. I'd seen everything.
I'd seen everything. So Spider-Man's like, man, Doc, we got to shut this shit down. He's like, I can't. It's too late. I can't. It's too late. I've already seen everything. And but we also see that some lightning or some electricity shocks his thing, so he loses control of his arms. Of his mechanical arms, not his real ones.
That's 2 movies in a row where we have a little chip on someone's neck, like either protecting or controlling their brain, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is weird.
Yeah.
We'll see if it's a theme this month.
Kind of.
But yeah, it nukes that, so the arms can now get to his brain because they're sentient too. Yes,
and because they're run by, this is an early use of the idea of like artificial intelligence in this way. And so because those arms can and he answers the question before he started up the whole thing by the press was like, aren't you afraid that you'll lose control of those arms and they'll take control of you? Because it's all like brain shit that he uses to control the arms. And he's like, nope, I have this inhibitor so that it blocks off my higher functions while I still can tell the arms what to do.
Well, that's gone.
That's gone. And so Pete's like, all right, well, I'm just going to pull the plug, literally.
Yep.
And he rips the big power supply out and it shuts down the machine. Yep. But the damage has been done, and Harry's mad because he spent all this money on a quack, or what he thinks is a quack. Doc Ock, it gets named as such by Ted Raimi, but J. Jonah Jameson steals it from him.
Oh god, that's funny. Ted Raimi's great in this. I also like the what about Doctor Strange? Great name. But it's taken.
Yeah.
And who knew? Who would know? Like, what, 20 years later, Sam Raimi would make a Doctor Strange movie?
Yeah.
Oh my god, he did make that movie.
Yep.
Shit. I forgot.
And then, but like, so there's a little bit of, so there's kind of a lot of things that kind of happen next. Like, for one, you get like the doctors are going to try to cut off the arms, but it's all been fused to Octavius's system. So they have to try to figure out how to
fight.
And they're going to fight. And it's going to be the most Sam Raimi scene.
Oh, it's so good.
Ever. Even to the point of like zeroing in on the guy picking up the chainsaw thing.
Yep. All the Raimi cam for each one of the arms. It's fucking fantastic.
Woman being dragged through with her fingernails scraping along them.
It's my favorite scene.
What was that? Drag Me to Hell?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But then, so basically the arms are now in control, and basically it's like, hey man, your wife died and your life's work has gone down the tubes. So let's try to, we got to do this right. We got to fix it. We got to get more tritium, and we need money.
And who has tritium and who has money? Harry Osborn.
Well, the bank has the money.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. So, but
and the
also
3 toasters.
Yes, and the Joel McHale's. And during this time, also we have Peter is getting invited to a play, or that Mary Jane's in, and she's been pretty successful at it.
And he's gonna be there.
I'm not gonna disappoint you. And she's like, sure, Jan. But then he, on the way, fucking robbers smash his bike as he flies up into the air, and then the little kids, it's like, wow, how'd you do that?
And he's like, don't do milk, drink your drugs.
He's like, yeah, he's just a lot of leafy vegetables or green vegetables or whatever. And it's like, my mom always says that. I just thought she was trying to get me to eat it. But yeah, he shows up late, and you have your Bruce Campbell appearance.
Yes.
And he's like, like at first he's like, oh, you got to tie your shoe, or oh, you got to fix your tie, and nope, you're not getting in.
It's too late.
Nobody can be in after the doors have been closed.
The way he fucking like hand gestures at the sign fucking kills me.
It's like, but I was invited by one of the actors. He's like, not to come late. You weren't.
And then when he's like,
my kids had no idea who Bruce Campbell was.
Oh man,
which is failure on my part.
Yeah, big time fail.
I'm like, that's Briscoe County Jr. for Christ's sake.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But then when like he's protesting about it, then he points to the other side. He's like, please be quiet.
It's really good.
It's great.
There's Shannon. Was it Shannon and I? We went to go see The Man with the Screaming Brain at the old Keith Cinemas down on the south side near UI.
Oh, yeah.
And Bruce Campbell was in attendance for it, and he did a Q&A, and he did said a funny bit. Somebody asked him about Spider-Man 2, I think it was, and he had a funny bit about that he's the only person in any of the Spider-Man movies you could say has actually defeated Spider-Man.
That's good. That's good.
He was at the. I had been at a movie that he was in attendance to too, because I saw that Evil Dead movie.
Oh yeah,
and he was there for Horror Hound, and that was cool.
He's a funny guy.
He's pretty funny. Yeah. He's got that. You got to know that he's taking a piss because he can be kind of abrasive with it. But if you understand what's going on,
he's some really funny interviews with how he approaches stuff. And I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
You don't know Bruce. That's going to suck.
Yeah. But
did he
anyway,
do all of his press for the Mummy movie? What was that? Bubba Hotep. Did he do all of his press for that as Elvis? I think he did.
Oh, he probably did.
Definitely did some of it, because I've seen videos actually recently of that.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, so there's that element that's going on. Then there's the Peter is also experiencing some performance issues.
His web's not coming out correct.
Nope. And he falls off he falls down. He falls, like into a fucking trash can or something. He's starting to have doubts about like what his purpose is supposed to be.
Right.
And also, while all of this is going on, Aunt May is trying to refinance her home. See, this is fucking exactly what Spider-Man deals with. It's all this crazy shit, and then Aunt May needs to refinance her house, or she'll lose it. That's also weighing on old Peter's mind. So he takes her to the bank, and this is when Doc Ock is like, I need money, so I'm going to steal these bags of gold coins from an American bank. But this is the first pretty good action scene with Dr. Octopus.
Yeah.
Because like there's the fight, like there's all this stuff.
He rips the vault off the wall first.
And then the arms can see Spider-Man coming from the back, which that's another great shot of seeing Spider-Man coming up from behind him.
Yep.
Over his shoulder. Yeah. Oh, that's good stuff. And then
Jeff
of course
Winger steals a coin.
Yeah. Joel McHale is there. He declines the ability to refinance the house, and he's not going to give her a free toaster because she didn't deposit $300.
What a dick.
Yeah. Well, Aunt May kind of takes that pretty well. She's like, oh, okay. But so you got Spider-Man. He's like getting his arms, or is getting his head crushed while Doc Ock is holding his arms with his various extra limbs. Spider-Man uses like those big heavy desks that you fill out your deposit slips and shit to like be able to break free from that. He gets thrown out into a car. And then so it's like Doc Ock is like tearing car doors off, throwing them at Spider-Man. And he eventually, as the police arrives, grabs Aunt May and climbs up the building. And every time that they showed Dr. Octopus like crawling around a building, I loved it. It's like,
That's really good.
I love the idea of him like sneaking off by just using the extra arms to crawl around the side of the building. Again, it's the little things. Just the little.
This is where though. So Doc Ock throws Peter through a window in a building across the street.
Yes.
And
the girl's screaming.
And the girl is screaming, and then Spider-Man, Peter, sorry to give up his identity.
Oh, no!
He uses his 2 webs to slingshot himself out the window.
Across the street, yeah.
But he comes out like, my kids were just fucking dying because he's just floating. Like, it does not look good. And I'm like, it looks like a comic shot. It really looks like a comic shot right now. And they're like, no, that's really bad. Okay. Whatever. Brindley's like, make sure you bring up the floating Spider-Man.
Tell them.
I didn't notice that at all.
I didn't notice that at all. I mean, I'm just engrossed in this, and I'm like probably like seeing the comic book ness of it. But you can tell her that this won the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects.
She gave it a 7. She gave the movie a 7.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
pretty
that's a 10.
respectable.
She liked it.
That's pretty respectable.
That sounds like your wife grading movies. That's all right.
No, Steph would have given this like a 5, probably.
I'll take a 7 from Brindley.
I'll take a 7, but it's a 10.
I don't even know if I'd honestly give it
technically,
a 10.
I gave it 4 out of 5 on
That's what I gave it.
box. So that's an 8.
Yeah.
Not that far off.
10 stars.
I don't disagree with your loving of this movie. There's just some of it that I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, well,
But not enough to make me mad or anything.
sure.
Like, I think it's great.
Yeah, so this is also like when he's like flying. This is not the scene in which Dr. Octopus like tears the arms off of the clock and throws them at Peter. That's good stuff. But that comes later with the subway, which was shot in Chicago. That scene with the subway was shot in Chicago.
Yeah, this movie was shot in LA, Chicago, and New York, I think.
Yeah.
Like all over the place.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, he's flying towards Dr. Octopus, who's like, he set a trap for him. He's going to stab him with one of his legs. And Aunt May's like, no, you're not. And like hits him with her purse, which makes it at least possible for Spider-Man to save her as he scurries away around the building.
He's such a, like, you got hit by a purse from an old woman, dude.
Actually, no, she hit him with her umbrella, with the handle of the umbrella.
Oh, okay, good, better.
Yeah, because at least that's
we make a pretty good team.
Yeah, he's like, and then his response is, oh, and then he just takes off.
Rosemary Harris, she is 97 years old. She's still alive.
She's still alive
right now. So nice. She would have been mid 70s for this, or early 70s.
Late. Kind of late.
25 years ago?
Mid 70s.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
20. It is. That's what was the first thing in my brain was 20 years ago, which is wild.
70s. Yep.
And Toby is kind of old for the role, which was another kid complaint, which whatever. But he does look like a late 20s guy playing 19, 20-year-old Peter Parker. But it didn't really bother me ever. But it bothers the younger generation, apparently.
Well,
I'm just saying facts. We don't have to argue. We can't argue with it because we're not their age.
We're not their age. Yep. Yeah. Thanks for reminding me that I'm old too.
But I don't know. Like, it is a different generation in the sense that we grew up with people playing, they're supposedly playing our age that were clearly much older. Like, that's just.
Oh, we grew up with 90210 characters that are like.
Perry was 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's just reality for us. We just immediately already suspend disbelief unless it's egregious, right?
Yeah.
I think that concept is kind of lessened over time, like suspending disbelief just in general.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, like, there are so many people who look at something and they just it's I don't know if that's died with attention span or what, but
Probably.
like there are a lot of people, a lot of younger people who are not willing to suspend disbelief for anything.
Well, they'll
And
watch
it's
a
like-
movie like this, which is like superhero movie with fucking weird logic and shit, and then complain about some little thing that doesn't make sense. It's
Yeah.
like, do you realize you're watching a guy who got bit by a spider? Like, no, I'm not talking about my specific kids. in
Sure.
this. That shit happens.
In some ways, though, it almost feels like maybe it's a good thing, and maybe it's something they've been conditioned towards because of the rise of, Photoshop, and they grew up in the age of Photoshop, and now, AI, and I don't think they can afford to suspend disbelief as a default, right?
Yeah, I mean I guess if you're talking about living in a digital age where things can be faked
Yeah.
very easily, the critical eye of that
I just think
is being applied to movies
but
too.
it's losing some whimsy here.
Well, yeah. I mean, the whole fucking world is losing its whimsy.
But I think I'm with you. I'm with you. But if someone's like, if Blair Witch came out today and they were trying to present it the way they did as fact, as this happened,
Right.
like, yes, I hope every kid in the world was like, fuck you.
This
Never happened because
there isn't a naivete anymore. Like kids are just confronted with a lot more shit to sift through these days, and it's changed their perception of a lot of things
and grabbing their attention
how
is harder.
how they consume media.
Yeah.
I think there's a larger conversation around this that we don't need to get into.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
I think that there's also beyond the technological side of it. There's also
Wait, are you going to get into it?
No, but I'm just going to say that there's.
We're going to stop talking about this, but not until I say this.
Yeah, I mean, there's a social element there too that I think is
Sure. Maybe
not
we should have a
great.
special episode later.
Maybe because at
If
that
we
point
can
I
relate
wouldn't
it to
need.
movies. If we can relate it to
Oh,
movies.
I can relate it to movies. I just don't think I'll need you guys there.
Oh, shit.
That's how much I've got to say about it.
This is Jeff's dissertation. He's will always be working on.
But anyway, don't believe everything you see on YouTube, kiddos. Anyway, but believe us, we're on YouTube, sort of. So you can watch us. Don't watch a certain Scottish fuckface. Anyway, that's just my warning for the day. So also during all of this, Peter has found out that Mary Jane has a boyfriend,
That fucking guy.
John Jameson, which is funny because it's like, I ain't got no beef with Johnny Boy. He seems all right. He's just not Peter. It's like Peter's our guy.
Yeah, we resent him just because he's not Peter.
He's not Peter, but he does nothing egregious in this, which is kind of nice. It's
And
like
Peter's done nothing to honestly earn Mary Jane.
exactly. Yeah. So it's all wonderful way of saying, hey, you know what? This is on Peter. It's not on this guy being a weirdo like creep or her being
It would
an
have been
idiot.
worse if it was Harry, which has happened in other stories and other.
Well, I was in the first one. Yeah. I mean, so Peter, that's also affecting him. And he decides, I'm just not going to be Spider-Man anymore. My powers aren't working anymore. He even goes to the doctor to try to figure out like if there's something physically or mentally wrong with him. And he's like, so in my dream, I'm Spider-Man and I'm falling off and I can't use my powers.
So good.
And the guy's like, okay, so you're Spider-Man in my dream. Actually, it's my friend's dream.
Brinley at this moment is like, oh, this is the Spider-Man No More story.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm like, what?
Because it's
She's
the
like, have you
image.
never heard of Spider-Man No More? And then
Spider-Man
she's
number
like, he's
50.
going to throw his shit in the trash can.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember that.
Amazing Spider-Man number 50.
Good job.
Yes.
Brinley.
Very good. A
Yeah.
plus.
She knows her shit.
Top marks.
She does?
She knows the history.
Top marks. Tell her I said top marks.
I will.
So anyway, he eventually, because he can't use his powers, he quits being Spider. He has a heart to heart with Uncle Ben, and he's like, from this point forward, I'm Spider-Man no more. And because Uncle Ben's trying to like pep him up, it's like, you got this. You can do this. You'll be great.
And this is obviously like in his mind because Uncle Ben is dead.
Yeah. But he's haunted by that expectation that he'll use these powers properly. And
right. I mean, yeah, that's another great aspect of this character.
Yep. And and at this point, Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head plays, and it has one of my favorite freeze frames in the history of cinema.
Freeze frame.
It's wonderful.
I mean, it's oh my god, and
it makes me laugh and it makes me smile, and
yes.
I just think it's just the best.
What is it? Remind me.
So it's after there's a little montage. First of all, he has to use his
phone on my head montage. And
then he has to use his
freeze frames for like a second and a half, and then it goes back.
Yeah, because what ends up happening is like the first thing he realizes that he's lost his powers. Yeah, and he's lost his powers because he has to use his glasses again because he trips over the thing in the sidewalk, which that starts off the whole scene. It's like, oh, everything's great now. He's happy. Oh, wait, nope, he's still clumsy. But then he picks himself up, and then he starts like doing really well at school. And then it's when at the end of the song, Dr. Connors comes out, pats him on the shoulder. He's like, great job today. And as he walks by, Peter smiles at him, and it's like a blurry freeze frame.
Yes.
Which,
I'm sending it to
it's perfect. and then it picks back up and he just walks on like, yeah, it's there it is. Yep. That's it.
Oh, so good.
There you go, Chuck. There it is for you.
Oh,
but yeah, it's like everything's going great. And so much so, like, even though he is still seeing people get mugged and he has to walk away from it. Also, do you notice when he's watching the ambulance and the police cars driving by, he's after he's bought that hot dog?
Oh, there's no hot dog in there.
There's no hot dog.
He's
you know why?
Yeah, because he's got vegan powers.
He's got vegan powers. Yeah, that's how he got his Spider-Man powers.
Or now he no longer has a wiener because he's not Spider-Man anymore.
Oh, yep, that could be too. That could be. It could be also.
I hope that's not it.
Well, maybe it doesn't. It's not that it's not pressed up against his body all the time.
Yeah, it can breathe a little bit.
Breathe a little bit. Exactly.
Yeah, he can go win a race like Chris
he can have children now. Yeah, he can go hang dong on the track. Yeah. So he's so much in a better position now. He can go to Mary Jane's play. And this is when he he goes to the play, which makes her stumble a little bit because she's surprised to see him, which is nice. Yeah. That's a nice scene too.
It is.
And he meets her afterwards, and this is when she's like, oh, you seem different. He's like, well, I go to class. I'm doing my homework now.
Yeah.
And he's like, I started writing poetry.
Whatever
and this
that
is
means.
this is when he tries to write or to read her poetry, and she's like, whatever that means, because she's like, just because you came to one show, that doesn't mean all is forgiven, and I'm just gonna drop my astronaut hunk boyfriend, from and pick back up with you. That's over. That's gone.
Yeah.
But she does admit to herself quietly that he has changed, and maybe this isn't so bad. This is around this time also is when Peter, he does get a piece of chocolate cake from Ursula. That's kind of nice, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's a neat scene.
But before that, he is kind of lonely because he tells Aunt May that he was actually there when Uncle Ben died, and he feels responsible for it. There was a storyline in the 80s when the two of them weren't really getting along very well, Aunt May and Peter. It has a little bit of a feel. It's a lot different in the comic book story, but there is a little. That's the first thing I thought of when this was going on. But
the recent Amazing has a little of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So basically she, after he tells her the truth of not the Spider-Man part, but the fact that, he was dropped off to go to the library. He never went to the library. He had the chance to win some money. He didn't stop the guy who burglarized the place. And that guy ended up killing Uncle Ben. She just gets up and walks away from him, turns her back on him.
Storms off. Yeah.
Well, storms off as much as a 77-year-old lady could, I guess.
I mean, yeah.
But she's clearly upset, and Peter is, that's something else he's kind of lost. And that's when Ursula comes over and brings him a piece of cake, and he kind of has a nice little, he has something, I mean, he's not totally alone, but she remembers, oh yeah, your aunt called. And that's when he goes over and he sees the little kid from across the street helping her pack her things. And she's like, yeah, they gave me a couple more weeks on a payment, but screw it. I'm going to go get an apartment.
And this is the conversation, Jason, that if you wanted to talk about it, which reminds us
yeah, exactly. I'm not going to try and paraphrase it all, but yeah, she gives her the pep talk of what being a hero means to other people and the selflessness and how that's appreciated, and people want to be better because of the example that they see that's set for them. Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah, because the little kid, he idolizes Spider-Man. He asks Peter, it's like, hey, you're his buddy. That's a very Clark Kent Superman thing.
Pictures of your friend?
Are you taking pictures of your friend?
This doesn't change anything.
And he's like, whoa, little kid. Supervillain on the rise here. But no, he's like, what happened to Spider-Man? He's like, well, he quit. He's like, well, why? He's like, he wanted to try some different things, I guess. And he's like, okay, well. And that's when she explains, like, yeah, that's his idol. He sees, we don't see Spider-Man in the newspaper anymore. Yeah. And
I kind of feel like
she knows.
She knows. I always thought so too. Okay.
Yeah. I think she knew after he saved, because she's the one who will notice Peter's gone. Now Spider-Man's here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I loved how she found out in the comics. He had like a really bad fight and he like collapsed in bed, like in like his underwear, and the Spider-Man suit was just on the floor, and she walked into his bedroom.
Isn't
that's the same way that she finds out in the Tom Hollands, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's the
exact same
way. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, so that was about, that was a little bit before these movies started up. She found out. That was a really good run until it wasn't.
It really took until the 2000s?
Yep.
Wow.
I don't remember, like, I kept up. I wasn't reading Spider-Man at that time for sure, because that was California era, but I was trying to keep up with what was going on.
Yeah, it was around 2003 or 4, maybe. So I think it was sometime in between the two movies, I think. But yeah, I think it was when J. Michael Straczynski was writing it. That was a good time until it wasn't.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that wasn't Zeb Wells.
Sorry. Yeah. Well, but then, so basically he's like, cause she also like, hey, basically he gets the idea. It's like, I need to focus on what I want and I can make this work. And it's like, I'm going to drop this whole, I can't ever get what I want bullshit. And just focus on doing what's right. And he tries to do the whole, jumping across the buildings like he did in the first movie. And he's like, yeah, I'm back. And then he falls and he's like, ow, my back.
That was ad-libbed.
That's great.
Isn't that
That's
great?
perfect. Yeah.
I guess that was kind of like a joke because he did a lot of his own stunts too. And he got banged up quite a bit. So
I imagine. Yeah. So yeah, it's like, but he he decides to meet with Mary Jane one more time because she calls him to meet. And they go to the little cafe. This was used in the trailers. They go to the little cafe.
Yeah.
And because she's like, because she is putting together like her invitations for the wedding. This is when she tries to figure out if she can have that upside down kiss with her current boyfriend, or if it's really just for Spider-Man Peter. And So she's like, that's not quite right. I'm going to meet with Pete. And meanwhile, crazy old Harry is like, hey, Dr. Octopus, I'll get you more tritium, which by the way, that is an extremely rare, it's actually also known as helium-3, I think.
Yeah.
But it is an
Hydrogen.
hydrogen-3. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. The other H, hydrogen-3. It is a extremely rare
Instead of
thing.
making self-sustaining energy, it just makes everybody have high-pitched voices.
Oh God.
Helium-3.
Yeah. Helium-3. Oh my God.
Oh my God, guys, I got it figured it out.
All of New York forever until they destroy that machine talks like that. But
Yeah,
they still
oh my
have
God.
But they still have New York accents.
Oh.
It's a Scotch right there.
Oh, love it. You mess with all of us. So Doc Ock's like, well, whatever. I gotta have because I've got the machine built. I stole enough money to get the machine built. Again, I need the tritium. And so he's like, fine, deal. Got it. He's like, don't hurt Peter. Peter's the way you can get to Spider-Man, but don't hurt him. Well, Dr. Octopus goes off script a little bit because he throws a car in through the diner that their cafe where they're meeting up, and decides, well, the lady will be a better hostage. So he takes her after not getting the information about Spider-Man from Peter.
That's a pretty risky move to throw that car in there because he doesn't know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
No, he doesn't know he's got Spidey sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he cared about anybody else, but
fair,
exactly.
But
He could have killed Peter.
He could have killed his lead. Yeah.
He's not exactly sane.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he grabs Mary Jane and he does the thing where he sneaks around the corner again. God, I love that. Every time Dr. Octopus crawled around the corner. Loved it.
The arms are just good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
And then Peter realizes he gets mad, and then his powers come back. He's like, hey, I can't see through my glasses anymore. And meanwhile, a garbage man had found the suit and sold it to J. Jonah Jameson for a measly $100. That's so JJJ.
Yeah.
That's fucking
I love
underpaying
it.
for everything.
He's like kind of sad that Spider-Man's gone, and as soon as he realizes he's back,
He's a menace.
He's a menace.
He's a thief. He stole my suit.
It's so good.
I also like how he's trying to chintz on the wedding.
But you guys had mentioned this in text. But
Tell the caterer not to open the caviar.
you really have to give J.K. Simmons his flowers because he's like a perfect
JJ.
JJ.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, he's so good. He's in the MCU. He's the MCU version of it.
He's
It's
so good. He's who I
never be
think
anyone
of when
better.
I think of J. Jonah Jameson.
Yes, bingo.
Do you read in the Ultimate Spider-Man? Do you read
Yes,
that in his voice?
100%.
Yeah. I do.
100%.
I don't see how you could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so he's so perfect in this. But yeah, all the time while he's trying to organize the wedding for his son and Mary Jane, he's trying to even when he's making the deal to buy the suit, he's arguing with his wife about the cost of something, about the flowers or something. But anyway, so yeah, Spider-Man gets his suit back. And this is when Dr. Octopus is waiting for him. And because he tells him, you got to be at this place at this time. And he shows up, and this is when he starts throwing pieces of the clock on the tower at him. And he's kicking that out of the way. And they eventually get onto the subway or the L.
Eat fresh real quick.
Say what?
They eat fresh real quick at the subway.
Yeah.
And then they.
It's hey, let's have a foot long. Let's have a $5 foot long.
Yeah, let's have a $5 foot long. But Spider-Man does the thing. He uses the two webs to stop the train, and that's like classic.
Yeah, I also like how like Dr. Octopus is like reaching into the train and throwing people out, and Spider-Man's got to like build little webs for them,
Yes,
to catch them. And then, and he also like there's a point where he gets like he gets his face like run up against something, and he has to like throw his mask away. Now, comic book logic, those kids must have snagged it out of the air through the window of the train.
Yeah, they were just there.
They just happened to be there.
Toby takes off his mask way too many times in this movie, honestly. If we're being honest, he takes it off all the time.
That's fair.
But this one comes off accidentally, but the kids hand it back to him after he's been
seen by a car full of
beaten and seen by a car full of people. And then Doc Ock comes in, and I can't remember. There's a little clever line in there, but Doc Ock takes him.
Yeah, there's the whole So like so he does the whole thing with the first he tries to stop the train by putting his feet into the tracks, and that's when the guy's like, "You got
breaking is super cool."
Yeah, and he's like, "You got any other ideas?" And I got a few. That's what Jason brought up earlier. But then he uses the webbing, because he can sense with the Spidey sense that there's a dead end coming.
Yeah,
like quite literally
coming. Yeah.
And he uses the webbing to slow it down and everything. And then he's about to pass out, and then they carry him into the train. And like, that's when the guy, like one of the guys is like, he's just a kid. He's no older than my son. And,
someone's like, no, he's 29.
no, he's 45. But no, then he realizes he doesn't have his mask, and that's when the little kid's like, "We found this for you, Spider-Man." And then they're all like, "We're not going to tell anybody," but they don't know who he is anyway. I mean, like,
right?
What are they going to do? Give a police sketch of him, or what? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, they could have just drawn a picture of his hair and been like, "Do you know who this is?" And that one dude would be like, "That's Peter Parker."
He hangs out with Ramona Flowers.
I don't know any more about him. Go ask the twins.
So so at this point, Dr. Octopus comes in, and that's when everybody stands, this is another New York standing up for Spider-Man moment. And they're like, you got to go through us to get to him. And he's like, all right then. And he uses his arms to
push
them
really
to
cool
the side
when he presses everyone against the wall.
And then he takes Peter, he binds him up, and he takes him to Harry, and Harry's like, "Before I kill you, I want to see who's under the mask." And then he sees it's Peter, and Peter just busts out of whatever it was that he was like tied up in. Yeah. And he's like, "Dude, I ain't got fucking time for this. Where is he going to be?" Because he's got MJ, and no. Some things are bigger than us. And
Harry goes along with it.
And Harry goes insane too.
Yes.
Can we also real quick talk about his house servant, Bernard, and the one line that he has?
Yeah. Your father obsessed over his work. Only obsessed over his work. Yeah.
But he doesn't even, that's way more dramatic than he says it.
That's true. Yeah. And he's also in the background. You can't even
And
see
he's
his
also
face.
like 8 million years old.
Yeah.
He's like, is your father only obsessed over his work? And then he leaves. And that's the last you see of him.
Yeah. So he's Aunt December.
Yeah, but before that, Harry has slammed down his glass of vodka.
Oh my God.
Or no, of bourbon. Yeah. He's like,
was it J&B? Also, Chuck, that was oh my God.
I missed it. Sorry, Chuck.
He's Aunt December, not Aunt May.
Because of how old he is.
Yeah. Yeah,
Nailed it.
I got it.
If that guy's still alive, I would be really surprised. Anyway,
let's find out.
But anyway, like Harry freaks out, but he does tell Pete, it's like, this is where he's at. And so he goes there, and of course, Mary Jane, for some reason, has been dunked in water. It's so hot. I know. Well, it's hot outside. I'm sure this was like summertime.
This is when they called her Kirsten Dunked in water.
Wait, no, would she have a Dunkachino?
It's not Kirsten anymore. It's Dunk.
Oh boy.
A little too punchy.
Yep. Anyway. So yeah, and like Peter sneaks in. They have like the Otto once again creates a fucking stellar event in the docks of New York, and Peter's like, man, dude, this is gonna destroy everything, like everything. You gotta shut this down, and when and Doc Ock's like, he's like super crazy, so he's like throwing shit at him, but it's starting to suck things through again.
It's doing it at a much larger scale than it was in
Yes.
contained.
And it's not until Peter takes his mask off again that kind of snaps Otto out of this. He's like, hey, yeah, you're the brilliant but lazy guy.
You're that kid.
Yeah. And he's like, I can't stop this. It's too late to stop this, but I can maybe drown it, and that'll do it. All right.
Let's dunk.
Let's dunk.
In water.
And so he starts to he brings the whole thing down on basically on top of himself. But meanwhile, there's a big brick building that's going to fall on Mary Jane.
Oh my God, my kids fucking died at this.
Okay, go ahead.
When the building started to fall on Mary Jane, Tobey Maguire, like full Harry Osborn's, and he's like, no! Like really loud. He yells no and he looks maniacal. My kids are like, that is so bad. But they thought it was hilarious.
Kids don't like cheese.
That's like, well,
I thought they were gonna make fun of when Doc Ock takes Mary Jane from the restaurant, from the coffee shop.
Oh, they did laugh at that too.
Crawling up the wall, and she's just screaming, and you could tell like it moves from a blue screamed image into a digital character at some point, and the body is just kind of like flailing.
Yeah, they did laugh at that too. But Mike,
It's pretty funny.
We don't have as much cheese anymore. Like, I'd have to like educate them.
You would think that as the world has collectively gotten a little gayer, you would think there would be a little bit more appreciation of camp.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
It's like,
I don't think that the appreciation wouldn't be there, but you're also talking about a movie where we would expect camp. They would not.
Yeah. Well, they should.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
kids that age are not going to expect to see camp in a superhero.
You need to Clockwork Orange them a little bit of Batman the series, the original '60s series.
Oh my
Sarah
God.
might have watched some of that, but you're right. Like, my kids aren't stupid; they understand history, and like, I'm not saying you guys are saying they're stupid, but this movie is kind of like. What? Oh, do you think they're stupid, Jason?
No, I just thought that was funny. I almost said Freudian slip. Now I did say it. It's like
I was trying to be
'Cause we didn't say she was
non-defensive. I was trying to be I didn't want it to come off as defensive.
2/3 of this call thinks that they're not stupid.
Yeah, I think they're pretty fucking stupid. But yeah, it's just not. I don't even remember my point anymore. But it's not something that's in front of them like it was for us for our entire childhood.
I mean, God, that's the. I mean, again, I think we need John Waters to like start teaching college level courses on camp.
Right,
Just
like what's the
anything.
last campy movie?
We need John Waters to teach anything.
I can't even think of the last campy movie I saw that is really campy, because even the throwbacks aren't.
I mean,
They're
I
more
would
serious in tone.
almost say that the last great campy movie was Bottoms.
Yeah.
I guess that is fairly campy, but it's still kind of serious.
That's pretty
Well,
campy, though.
it's taken
pretty
the camp
campy.
seriously, though.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I mean, I love that movie. I thought it was fantastic.
It's getting a release on Kino Lorber.
It
I think I saw that. I saw your comment on that. And I think Brinley saw Bottoms and really liked it. But
John Paxton, by the way, is Bernard, the Spider-Man
John?
house man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he is indeed dead. He died in 2011 at the age of 91.
Yeah, see, he was ancient.
He also was in
already
a
old.
lot of Sam Raimi movies.
Yep. Anyway, so
Was the car in this one? I'll ask later.
Yes,
Go ahead.
it was in the garage at Aunt May's house.
Thank
the
you.
Classic. You can see it
because it's Uncle Ben's car.
when she does the speech. Yeah,
Yeah, it's Uncle Ben's car.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
Nothing
anyway,
can kill the Classic.
so but yeah, I was like Spider-Man. I do like what he has to say when he's like holding the wall. He's like, "This is heavy."
Yes.
But yeah, it's like it was right before that she sees him with his mask off and realizes, oh yeah, I've been right all along. But yeah, so luckily the gravitational force of the literal sun that has been created by Dr. Otto Octavius pulls the wall into it. So like Spider-Man can kind of make it look like he's throwing it. But thankfully
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. Although Spider-Man does have pretty good strength level.
He doesn't have the strength of symbiote Spider-Man, but he's pretty strong.
No, but he's pretty strong. I mean, he's not holding the mountain from falling on everybody like the Hulk could. But
another great thing about Spider-Man is that he has limits.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So anyway, after this, he and Mary Jane have another talk. He's like, yeah, no, I'm always going to be Spider-Man. There's no way we can be together. We're Dunsville, baby. And she's like, boo-hoo. And he's like, I'll lower you down with my web. And I think about what that would feel like coming out of his wrist. Because this is organic webbing in this Spider-Man. And it's like, ooh, what would that feel like? I don't know.
A little good, probably.
Maybe a little good, but like tickly.
I think he got tickled behind his knee on this one.
When I let her down from the web.
Boner.
So she swings away as everybody comes to take Mary Jane home. And Harry goes all the way crazy. He sees I tell you, I can promise you guys, if you see Willem Dafoe talking to you in a mirror, you've lost it. Trust me. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh shit. I
think maybe what it is he's trying to slowly turn into Willem Dafoe's performance of the Green Goblin.
That's what I was saying, yeah.
And yeah, you're right. And it's just not he's just not as good an actor.
He's not Willem Dafoe.
He doesn't have the hard visage.
You're right. He's just not Willem Dafoe. Like the physical aspect of it, it's just not as convincing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because Willem Dafoe is a hard looking guy.
Yeah.
But he's also a really, really good, really good actor. I don't know how many reallys I want to put on.
Fascinating.
But he's a good actor.
Multiple Oscar nominee, Willem Dafoe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And James Franco will never have one.
No, probably not. Maybe when he's like 70.
Did they get nominated for Disaster?
Oh, they do.
Artist?
He did win one. He actually has
for acting.
No, for writing.
I'm talking about acting.
Oh yeah, no.
Well, fair enough. Yes, that's probably true.
Yeah, I guess you do need to stipulate that because people cross.
Oh, he didn't. He did not write that.
What?
Tommy
Wiseau wrote that
adaptation. No.
Nope. That was Scott Neustadter and Michael H. Weber.
Huh. Okay. Well, then no.
Anyway, so but yeah, so he sees his father, and it's like, you know what you got to do. You got to go get that Peter Parker. He's a bad man. And he throws something into the mirror, which reveals the secret goblin room. Yeah. And he's like, ooh, I could pumpkin bomb the hell out of this place.
Yeah, dude. All it was missing was a sign that said Spirit Halloween opening.
Yes.
I mean, the Hobgoblin and Green Goblin are cool. But man, overdone in Spider-Man movies at this point. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need
retire forever. Yeah.
Yeah. I could go without Venom for a long time too.
Yeah.
Give me the lizard, like a good
Yes.
fucking lizard.
A good
Yeah.
lizard. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
That
so
was one character I did like from 3 a lot was it 3? Sandman? Or was that
Yeah.
one of the Spider-Man?
yeah, Sandman.
Yeah, that was
Or the
Thomas
Amazing.
Hayden
Yeah.
Church, right?
Thomas Hayden
Yep.
Church. That was
Yeah.
good. That was really
Because he is a sympathetic character.
real good.
Hey,
I think
did you
we're
know?
gonna get that with Clayface
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
the Batman
possibly. Yeah,
uniforms.
Yeah, that'd be really
Uniforms.
uniform.
Universe.
Yeah. By the way, some little side piece of trivia about Sandman. For a brief period of time, he was an Avenger
Really? I did not know
in
that.
the 90s. Yep.
I did
For a
not
very
know that.
brief period of time, he was an Avenger.
Storm could turn that motherfucker into glass.
Storm is currently an Avenger.
I know.
Yeah.
I love
Anyway,
Storm.
she's good on there. Anyway, so yeah, he becomes the something goblin, and
Knob
he
Goblin.
shows the knob goblin.
I didn't even mean it the way I said it, but that's good.
Oh God! Oh boy, we've been
that's-
gone for a long time.
Yeah.
That's
So-
pretty good.
But he ends up at totally goofed off his balls at Mary Jane's wedding, where he's like grinning like an asshole. He's got like the green bow tie. He's fully goblined up, and but she doesn't show up because she decides, fuck you, Peter. You don't get to decide what kind of danger I'm going to be put in. I'll decide that. That's where I think she is very 80s Mary Jane.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it's 100% like Peter wants to protect her, but I mean, this Peter at every turn of his life is like, I'm not going to put the people I love in danger.
I mean, she
And
ends
then
the movie on the classic Mary Jane line, right?
Oh, go get him, Tiger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's-
Yeah, I mean, yes, I think it's you. Yes, at the end of this movie, go get him, Tiger. It's not quite her classic line, but yes, you're right.
I mean,
I
she
love it.
uses Tiger. Yeah. I mean, that's,
Yes. Well, yes. Tiger, I guess, is the
Yes, you struck gold, Tiger, or something.
no, you
like
hit the
that.
jackpot.
Yes,
Face it, Tiger, you hit the jackpot.
that's the big Mary Jane line.
Yeah.
but
That's
yes,
the
you're
reveal
right.
of her. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
point. I wasn't necessarily talking about that.
No.
moment. I was talking about
no, I get
Yeah.
it.
her.
I get it.
but yeah, she basically is like, it's time for somebody else to save your life instead of what you do to other people. And let's make out. And then when you hear the police thing go off, why don't you go get them? I'll wait here in your crummy apartment. But I love how it ends with her look of concern, because it's almost a little bit a graduate,
Uh-huh.
like
yeah.
did I make
know
the
what you're
right
saying.
choice?
Yeah. I agree.
Because
I didn't
she's not
read it
worried
that
for
way.
herself, she's worried for him,
100%.
which is very Mary Jane.
I agree with that, and why I think it's not graduate, because they are worried for themselves with
Sure.
the look at the end. Not to be like discrediting your point there, but it is very Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Like, she knew she was what she was getting into, and I appreciate her for making this choice. And I
think-
appreciate that Peter, like, it would suck if she didn't know.
Yeah.
That's what
yeah.
another great thing about Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, I think just what makes it a little bit more like, where I kind of apply the graduate feeling to it is that here's Spider-Man. He's swinging around. He's woohooing. He's like super happy, but it doesn't end on the super happy.
Right.
It ends on the concern, the quiet ending to her.
Right,
That-
because yes, I mean, yes,
Well, yeah, this
because
is
he was a
this-
loner before.
But this is also,
Sorry.
her first time realizing that
She just
She's-
sent him off to
she
danger.
just sent him off
Every
to danger.
time he
Right,
swings
right.
off, she was gonna feel this
Right, exactly.
thing.
Exactly. That's what I think she's feeling.
And she's
feeling it for the first
got a
time,
harden.
And yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's just that decision to end the movie back on her instead of with Spider-Man swinging at you
I
like
think it's beautiful.
the other two movies.
Yeah.
It is beautiful because it's not just about Peter.
Right.
Yep.
That's
the
what
people
whole
around
damn
him
movie is about, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
the people around him suffer with him, even though he always feels alone.
Yep. And he always throws that onto himself without even asking.
He'll take
people.
everything on himself, but it's not all on him.
Right.
Which is what
he never
doesn't
realizes.
always realize.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
He never gets that. He doesn't have to carry the weight alone.
That's why 3 kind of sucks, because it should have put that on other people. Or let Peter know that there were other people there for. I need to watch it again.
I haven't seen it in so long. I don't remember it.
But I remember it being more a spectacle than a character study. Am I wrong?
It is.
There?
Yeah. It should have just focused on the Sandman, but bringing Venom in. Venom is too big. Venom's takes over
a great
everything.
Fucking character.
And that
I don't care much for Venom.
He can be, but nobody's done it yet.
No, I mean in the comics they have.
Yeah,
he's a great character.
I think in the comic, I've always liked him in the comics.
I don't know, man. I get tired of him very quickly because there's too much of. He's too big.
Well, let me ask you this.
But as far as Spider-Man 3 goes, he was never going to be in there in the first place. That was Raimi folding. He was
that was Sony's
the executives.
Yeah,
because they wanted Venom, and he tried to resist it, and he finally said, "Fine, I'll give you your fucking Venom," because that's not a character he knows or understands.
Yeah,
like it's not from his era. He didn't want to do it. Yeah.
So don't bring up Geoff, the Ultimate Spider-Man, because I'm not to the Venom suit, which I see on the cover of a comic. But did you like symbiote Peter? Or are you not cool with that either?
I've not read Spider-Man in a long time.
So you don't remember when he got the black suit? When he
came back you're talking about originally?
Like the classic Bell.
Oh, the classic one? Yeah, I mean, it was, I think as that concept, it was, I think that there's some interesting elements in those early days. It was one of those things where it's like, when Venom, when it attached to Eddie Brock, and then Venom was everywhere after that, I was like, I'm out. I checked out. This is too much.
It's interesting because I really like him. I like Eddie Brock. I think
I have a hair trigger limit when it comes to anti-heroes. And when Venom was turned into an anti-hero, it's like, oh my God, he's going to be everywhere now.
Lethal Protector.
And sure enough, he was. Yeah, Lethal Protector. But I mean, that's
movie
my
adaptations be damned, because they kind of.
Yeah.
But the comic version, I really kind of liked.
I think that there's stuff that you can do there. I don't know. And then to find out, it's like, oh my God, there's like a fucking million symbiotes now. And it's like,
oh my God, I hate the king, the Black King, or whatever it's called. Like, I don't care for
other than like the Carnage stuff. I don't remember it. I don't know it going.
And it's too big to now.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know. I mean, I think that I tie Venom to my general disdain of 90s era
I
stuff.
tie Venom to McFarlane, and I really liked McFarlane.
Well, which is fine. And yes, he did. I think the earliest stuff, but once you get into the 90s and it was like everybody is extreme. And of course that Venom is like the poster child of extreme at Marvel in the 90s. And I was like, nope. I'm out.
There's too much of it now too, but forget that.
All right.
Spider-Man 2 is a fantastic representation of an era of Spider-Man in comics. Like,
yes,
100%. I really like this movie. I recognize the things my kids laughed at as being funny, and like for the wrong reason, but I'm also like, you just don't know.
You whippersnappers don't get it. Yeah.
Right. Like, it's a little bit get off my lawn.
It's a little bit like, let me go get you a book to read right now.
Yes.
To get it.
Let's get the fucking compendium.
Yeah. Right.
whatever era, like 60s, 70s, whatever. But yeah, this is really good Spider-Man. It's probably the best. Not probably. I think it is the best representation of Spider-Man in film.
This movie is beloved by me.
Beloved. Yeah, like
Beloved.
I still get the same tingles. I still get the same feelings now as I did 21 years ago.
I'm not surprised. It's really good.
Yeah. All right.
Jason has no further things to add.
I'm good.
You're good? You're good because it's good.
We've said enough.
Yes. Next week, we're going to remember the 5th of November.
Oh, shit.
And we're going to get into something I really wish I had the time and the ability to reread before we did it. But I kind of glad that I don't, because I think the book and the movie need to be two separate concepts and two separate ideas.
Oh, it's V.
V for Vendetta. Yes. So yes, July 16th, right here on filmseizure.com, we are going to talk about V for Vendetta, a movie that Alan Moore hates, but Alan Moore hates all the movies made from his stuff. So
even Swamp Thing?
Well, not the original, because he wasn't writing it at that time.
Movie was before him. Yeah. I know.
Man, Swamp Thing's fun. Anyway,
I really like Swamp Thing.
I do too. Anyway, but yeah, V for Vendetta, that is coming to you next Wednesday, July 16th. Go to filmseizure.com to find all the places you can follow us on the social media, on the various podcast sites. It's good time. It's a good place. Be there. This upcoming Monday, I have another episode of Monster Mondays, also at filmseizure.com. I have a couple of more episodes of Kolchak the Night Stalker, episodes 7 and 8. Good stuff. A little bit of Tom Skerritt in one of the episodes, a little bit of Richard Keel in the other.
I need to watch that someday.
You sure do. It's fun, man. You'd love it, I think. It's fun times. This upcoming Friday at my website, bmovieanima.com, I have a review of Carnosaur.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, fun times. It's
the
the most
up B movie.
It's the most memorable dinosaur movie of 1993. Yeah,
I don't remember any
It's
other
that
ones.
one. Yeah, it's that one. That's the most famous one. Yeah. Funny stories in that review, particularly a famous fight between Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel over that one.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised they talked about that.
It was theatrically released. None of the sequels were, but that one was.
That's insane.
It was Siskel that liked it, right?
Yep, Siskel liked it. Ebert named it the worst movie of the year.
Yeah.
And there's the worst movie of the year for Siskel was Cop and a Half, which Ebert gave a thumbs up to.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff.
I think it's the only time that ever happened where they liked the other's worst movie of the year. Anyway, so that's what's coming up here. Hey, until next week, I'm Peter Parker.
I'm Chuck Moore.
Pizza time, and you have been listening to Film Seizure.
Hey, that guy stole his pizza.